So welcome to this training call. We've got a client here, Brent Stewart, and I like to bring out a new client every single week. Sometimes we bring out two of you guys a week that are in completely different industries, because I always have salespeople that say, Jeremy, I sell XYZ product and it has to be sold a completely different way, and I don't know if any PQ would work for what I sell. And I'm like, we train over 160 different industries. I know that we're already training people and companies in your industry. So I always like to mix it up, bring in people that sell different things. Brent, so welcome to the call. Brent, what do you actually sell? You sell some type of Airbnb service or something, right?
Yeah, it's an automated service. It's done for you. And so what we get is we get an upfront, we get a credit line, and we do all the work for them, and we make them income.
Okay, so you help investors, I guess,
Yep.
Make some type of like passive income.
Correct.
By investing in like Airbnb properties, basically, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
So you're like a W-2 employee for these guys, or a 1099, or what are you?
1099, yeah.
Okay, you work 1099. Okay, I got you. That makes sense. All right. Brent's one of our clients. He's been with us only, 3-4 months, something like that?
Just 2.5, something like that.
Yeah. I think it's just under 3. And I like to bring out people sometimes that have been clients for 2 years, clients for 18 months, a year, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 2 months. It's kind of all over the place. I like to mix and mingle with you guys. So Brent, we're going to talk a little bit about this. Now, if you guys are brand new, before I break, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down Brent's sales process that he has learned by going through our advanced NEPQ 3.0 portal and group training with our sales trainers. And what we're going to do for everybody watching, you're in a treat for today. Brent, I'm going to bring out some knowledge bombs for you guys and some different questions that we've taught Brent to ask, and the tonality we've taught him to use, and how to actually use those for your industries that you sell in right now. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, what product or service you sell, as long as your prospects have problems. Does anybody have prospects that have problems on here? I'm assuming, otherwise your product or service wouldn't exist. And does your solution solve those problems? Well, I would hope so. That's probably why your product or service was actually invented, to solve problems. So if is that your case, your prospects have problems, your solution solves those, then you can learn how to sell more with what we're going to train you. All right. Now, if you're brand new to our Facebook group, you've never seen me before, I'm the founder and chairman of 7th Level. Okay, I'm the original OG 3.5 years ago. And we're a training organization, sales training company that helps sales professionals just like you watching me right now. Okay. So we help salespeople like you. We help sales executives like you. We help coaches like you. We help sales management like you. We help entrepreneurs, business owners like you, and we help you transform the way you sell by learning specific skilled questions and techniques that actually work with human behavior. Now, what are those questions? We're going to talk a little bit about that today, okay? So those are called neuro-emotional persuasion questions. So when I say NEPQ, that stands for neuro-emotional persuasion questions. Now, we have to teach you the right tonality that puts your prospects at ease, eliminates sales pressure. Can you imagine if your prospects did not throw up sales resistance at you, how much more you could sell? Makes selling a lot more easy and a lot more comfortable for you and your prospect, okay? And it actually triggers the prospect to want to engage with you, to want to open up to you, and actually pull you in, okay? Now, okay, Brent, let's jump into this. All right. So Brent, I have to ask you, you're now up to, I think, almost 30,000 a month in commissions. You're kind of almost in your 3rd month with us. Okay. You were at $4,000 a month before you got here. 4K to 30K. Is that a bit of a lifestyle change? Possibly.
Just a skosh.
Okay. Inflation's going up, folks. It's not like it's just going to go down, everybody. I hate to tell you this. Doesn't matter what your politicians you believe in on the left or the right or whatever are telling you. Inflation's not going to just automatically drop down. Things are going to keep getting more expensive. So if that's the case, what do we have to do on our end that we can control? Learn more advanced skills so we can make more money, right? Okay, so Brent, my first question is, were you born out of your mother's womb with all these advanced questioning skills and tonality skills, or is that something you possibly learned?
Yeah, it was definitely learned. I'm high school. I had high school diploma, and I was a truck driver for 21 years. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you got out of high school, you got into truck driving. So you're a truck driver for 21 years.
Yep.
And I think you told me right before I got on here, you've been in sales for 5 years now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So 5 years ago, what caused you to go from driving a truck to be like, hey, I want to go into sales?
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose. I got out and finally got to leave trucking, which is what I wanted to do. Became a personal trainer.
Okay.
And right after that, they tapped me and said, we want you to manage it, which means you're also going to have to sell some training.
Okay.
That's how I ended up getting into sales.
Okay. All right. So you're like, hey, I'm getting into sales. I'm in management in this fitness company. I'm going to have to learn to sell. How did you learn how to sell? Like, what books were you going through at that time? This is before you knew anything about us over here, because we didn't even, our company wasn't here 5 years ago. I still had my job 5 years ago. How did you like sell back in the old days?
Well, one of the other managers gave me a script and had me memorize it. And on my first sale, I actually had the script in front of me and I was reading it. And the guy said something to me and I looked at him and the guy was a lunatic too, so this is just a recipe for complete disaster. How I got the sale is hilarious.
Okay.
And I literally looked at the guy. I look up from my script and look at the guy and I go, bro, you're going to have to say something else that is not on my script. And that's what he did. He thought it was hilarious. He thought it was playing. And my manager's behind me listening because he's going to give me some pointers afterwards. Yeah. And his jaw hits the floor. And then when he sees the reaction, the guy, he's laughing about the fall out of his chair. Yeah. Like 10 minutes later, I got a $6,000 sale. So how I roll into that, I don't know.
You got lucky. Let's just be honest, right?
Yeah.
So Brent, so you weren't born with the sales skills. You had to learn them like everybody is, apparently. Yeah. There's always this rumor like, oh, he or she's just a gift of the gab. They were just born a salesperson. Nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, I'm just going off the data and the science, okay? Extroverted people who talk a lot, statistically, according to the data, do not sell as much as people that are in the middle between an introvert and an extrovert. Because a lot of times extroverts talk too much and they don't listen, so they don't understand what's really going on in the prospect's mind. Whereas introverted people and people in the middle, they call those, I think, ambiverts or something like that, are more neutral and listen more. Now, if you're extroverted, we got thousands of salespeople that are extroverted. We just have to calm you down and get you to listen more and be able to be more patient, okay, with your questions. All right. So let's go back into this. So you get into sales. I think, how much were you making selling this old way of selling that the company was training you?
I think I made 30K my first year. I wasn't making a lot of money.
So below the poverty level, basically.
Yeah, it was. Okay. That was a huge hit from driving a truck. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you were making more as a truck driver. So you're like, okay, what caused you to be like, holy hell, I got to do something different?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to get back into truck again. That's it.
Okay. All right. So you got your new job selling the Airbnb services. I think just 6 months ago or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how did you, this is before you got into our training. How were you selling when you got into that job?
I followed you for a while and was trying to put it together. And
okay. So you were going through some of our free content, some of the stuff we post here and there, which is just like little hors d'oeuvres. It's like 1%. It's like 1% of the 1% of our actual training for our clients. So you're trying to piece this all together, trying to wing it, figure it all out.
Yeah.
And what caused you to be like, man, I need to get the funds to get into like, being a client and actually learning what to do?
I was going to have to be driving a truck soon. Like I was at the point I had, used all the money I could use. All the savings was basically gone. And so I had to do something or else I was going to be in a truck.
Okay. So time to make a change. Now, so you got into our advanced NEPQ 3.0. And from what I understand, that's a little bit less than 90 days.
Oh, yeah.
Is that realistic? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So before you got in here, in February, I think you said you make $4,000.
Mm-hmm.
In March, what did you make after going through just the virtual training platform and the 2 or 3 group training calls a week that we have with our sales trainers? What did you
I went to 16.5 that month.
So from 4 to 16.5. Okay. Yep. So that's about 4 times more. Okay. So that's good. Now, what was the biggest difference What did you learn in that first 30 days that you were just completely doing wrong before NEPQ?
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble finding the pain. And so I was constantly tweaking my script, thinking the words would help me find the pain.
Okay.
And so the first thing I learned, one of the very first things I learned was don't tweak your script if you don't know why you're tweaking it.
Yeah, because if you don't know why you're even asking a certain question in the first place, it doesn't come across the same, because what happens if they take you off the path? You don't know where to go because you don't even know why you're asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was huge. And then toward the end of February, beginning March, whatever that was, I was in with Rode on the Monday tonality class.
Uh-huh.
And we were going through for probably the third time in a row, why I can't get pain.
Okay.
Like, why is this?
Now, if everybody doesn't know Rode, Rode is one of our advanced sales trainers that does some of our group training in our advanced NEPQ 3.0 group training besides the virtual training platform.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He is awesome for sure.
So I was doing a role play, blowing it again. And which, by the way, is the absolute best thing that you could ever do. Go in, role play, screw up, and have somebody like Rode or Bill or somebody see it.
Yeah.
And I missed the entry point into the pain. And the person I was role playing with did a nervous laugh, like, and I missed it and went right over it. It was like, oh yeah, it's all right, man. And so I literally just shot myself in the foot, and the call, the role play goes to pop.
Yeah.
And Rhodes said, when they do that nervous laugh, that is your entry point for the pain.
Yeah.
And light bulbs, fireworks, etc.
Sure.
And so next call, I find myself doing the exact same stupid thing.
Yeah.
But I catch myself and I go back and I get the pain and I close the deal. And I was like, good Lord, that's one of the things I was missing but it was such a simple
tweak, right? Yeah. And that's what a lot of people, you just don't know. As a sales professional, you just don't know what you don't know.
And I didn't.
Right? You just don't know what you don't know. And so until you have somebody that's trained that actually does know how to work with human behavior, understands NEPQ, like our certified trainers, you're just kind of fumbling and bumbling out there trying to figure it all out, right? And so that I look at selling like baseball or softball. You can be out at first base by a freaking centimeter. You can also lose a sale by this much. Just by little tweaks can make you the sale compared to not make it. Okay, what else?
Yeah, so right there, I was missing the pain. I was missing the whole reason the person was on the call. Made the calls really super long, that sort of thing. So I quit tweaking my script and I started just role playing. With the trainers.
Yeah.
And then I'm the extrovert. I'm the guy that has to slow down.
Yeah.
And so that was another thing that Rode and Bill both helped me with. Slow down, listen, here's your techniques. And so once I started to slow down, my energy, it wasn't even how they were responding to me, but how I was entering the call was so different that the answers I needed started to be easier to get.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
So, when you say too much and it goes too long, they zone out.
Yeah. Well, it's just like if you're in a chemistry, class and the teacher just gets up there and lectures for 15 minutes straight.
Yeah.
As a student, what do you typically do? You zone out. It's the same thing in sales. Of course, human behavior, you're going to cause your prospects to zone out because there's no emotion involved in that conversation if you're just talking, right? Okay.
So then instead of trying to persuade by me talking, I began to learn to persuade by asking questions.
Yeah. Okay.
And so
you took your statements you were making and we taught you how to turn those into more poignant questions. Okay.
Yep. And then automatically your answers that you're getting from them are significantly better.
Yeah.
So then,
in what way though?
Well, they're deeper.
Okay. And deeper does what?
It exposes more pain.
Yes.
And it allows me to get to the reason they're on the call.
And it exposes more pain to two people.
To both of us.
But more importantly, them.
Yeah.
So you're helping them relive the pain.
Yeah.
You're helping them relive pain that they buried in their subconscious mind. Whereas most salespeople, 99% of salespeople don't know how to get that pain from their subconscious to their conscious. where it's on their mind, where it's urgent. With any PQ, that's what you're still learning. Like I know you just made 30 grand in commissions this month.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you 3 months from now, 6 months from now, you'll be making a lot more than that because you're like a new little lamb out in the pasture.
I know it. Yeah. I'm totally aware.
It's okay.
Completely aware.
All right, keep going. That was good.
Yeah. And so as I started to slow down, as the questions got better, the conversations got deeper.
Okay.
And when we got to the end, another place I really struggled was, like, I feel like we've covered everything. I could show you the next steps, or where would you like to go from here? It was always kind of odd. Yeah. Because I didn't know exactly what I was doing there. Now they're actually excited to hear the offer.
Yeah.
So
Reen Keene said, this is taking too long to get going. Well, Reen, you don't have to be on here. If you don't want to learn the skills, it really has no impact on us. We already know them. You don't have to be on here. All right, keep going, Brent.
Yeah, that was so like it changes objection handling. It changes because it's so much easier at that point when you haven't been trying to persuade them and now you're trying to drag them across the line. Yeah. I used to see that point there where you're asking for the sale, or you're giving them the options as like a wall that you're trying to push over.
Yeah.
And now,
because it's the way you were selling before, what you've been taught by the sales gurus, quote unquote, or most companies, is push, push, push. And when you push a human being, what do they do back?
They resist.
They resist unless it's a lay down sale, which is hardly anybody.
Yeah.
Right. So human behavior 101, you push, most prospects push back unless they're an easy sale. Okay. For you guys to be great, you can't just sell to easy sales. That's like 10% of the people you talk to, if that. Maybe 10% are never going to buy because they can't get the funding, but that leaves 80% in the middle. And depending on your guys' sales abilities, understanding and learning how to work with human behavior, like you can learn from us if that's what you want, will depend on what side of the fence the other 80% go. Your side of the fence, or staying in the status quo side of the fence where they don't purchase from you and they stay in their the same where they're at and their problems never get solved. Okay. All right. What else? I cut you off.
Yeah. I mean, just like you start to hear where the person is at without them really having to say a whole lot. That was so different.
Okay.
Because you understand their mind. Like even from the first question, like once we've told them why they're on what we're going to do at the beginning of the call, and I would ask them, well, what was it that, resonated with you? And they would say, I want passive income. Okay. And so a question that I kind of created off of that was, okay, well, I mean, passive income doesn't require a lot of time. Are you making any now?
Yeah.
And they would say, well, no, I'm not. It's like, okay, can I ask why? Like it's a time issue, right? So like, why aren't you making any passive income? And
what would they say?
Now they have to, you'll see, like, when a question really lands, because they'll be like,
and why am I not? That's a good question. It's like that question, you're using a kind of a consequence question and connecting, which is good. It's okay. But it's causing them to question their way of thinking of why they've allowed the current situation to keep happening without doing anything about solving the problem.
Exactly.
Right? That's good. Now, once you get into the situation part, because once you've asked some certain connecting questions, which you just gave us one, there's probably about 3 or 4 you really have to ask for what you sell. Okay. We don't have time to go through all those. But once you get into the situation stage where you have to find out their current situation, we call that their current state. What is a question that you ask now that you didn't before that helps you and them find out really what their current situation actually is?
Yeah. So I'll ask them what they do for a living. And then I'll just simply ask, once I get some of that and like how long they've been doing it, then.
Yeah. Now you're asking them what they do for a living because these people have a 9-to-5 job and usually you're selling them an investment opportunity where they can invest in Airbnbs and make income from that. Right. And people, I'm assuming, want to get into that because maybe they want to get out of their job because they're working a lot of hours. They're corporate executives. They want to make more money. Is that why you're asking them, what they do for a living? Yeah, because that makes sense. You got to find out what their current situation is, because what you're doing is you're selling a change solution. Yep. That means you're taking them from where they are and changing over to something else. It's like a change offer is what we would call that. Okay.
Yep.
Now, what did you used to ask before to try to find out their situation?
It was all over the place. Like I might not ask the situation stuff till later on in the call because I didn't have like necessarily a process where I knew.
So you were winging it.
Oh yeah, every time. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how does it feel winging it or having a structure? What is the difference in your calls?
You don't approach a call with like fear or, oh my gosh, like you're pretty sure you're going to be able to deal with what's there because you've worked on it. Like you role play 3, 4, 5 times a week. And, after a while, you've dealt with a lot of different circumstances.
100%. Now, let's talk. You gave him a little example of a situation question. There's more situation questions you have to find out for what you sell. But let's go into problem awareness. You said something. I'm going to have to walk you back. You said something about 10, 15 minutes ago. And you said before, I could never find out really why they were even on the call with me. And that's really, see, good salespeople can find out the prospect's why. But that's just surface level. The greatest of all salespeople, the top 1%, are able to find out what's behind the why, what's actually driving the why, what's under the surface. That pulls the prospect's emotional state out and into the open, where they open up about why they really want to change, not just stay surface level. Now, when you learn that from NEPQ, going through the NEPQ, virtual training program, 3.0 version, how did your prospects, what did you notice from your prospects?
I hear good question a lot.
Okay. So you're getting them to think about things they probably never thought before.
Yeah. And they don't know that their problem isn't a lack of money. Yeah. They don't know that.
Yeah.
They think that it's a lack of money.
Yeah.
What we're looking for as we start to get into problem awareness is what is the real issue? Like what's the real problem there? And that's where the questions really start to shine.
Yeah. Well, what is the real problem? So, I think good salespeople can find out what the real problem is. Really great salespeople can find out the root cause of the problem.
Yeah.
The greatest of all salespeople are able to do those two things. And also, most importantly, find out how the problem's actually affecting that person, even personally.
Yeah.
When you've learned how to do that, and I think you're still learning how to do that, how are your prospects reacting?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely getting better with that. That's, and it shows up at different parts of the call. Like you don't have to do it in one spot because like pain will come out at any section of the call. Yeah. And so the calls go so deep, so fast sometimes, like it'll almost catch you off guard. Like I've had people cry. Yeah. I've had all kinds of things happen just because you've pulled
out their emotional state. You've helped them see where they are, current state, compared to where they want to be. Okay, we call that their objective state. And what's the gap? Your questions that you're now learning in the virtual training courses, that's causing them to see how many problems they have that they didn't know they had before they got on that call with you.
Yeah. Jeremy, another thing I stopped doing is I don't role play with most people.
Okay, why?
Because they can't point out my flaws. I end up practicing the wrong thing.
Yeah, because they don't know what they don't know. So if you're out there role playing with somebody who doesn't know these type of skills, how are they going to help you get better? They're not. You have to role play with our sales trainers who are certified, who themselves have made hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in commissions before they even came here.
Yeah.
Before they were hired as a sales trainer. We don't hire any sales trainers without them first being certified in our virtual training courses, at least advanced 3.0. Well, I think inner circle. I don't think we hire any sales trainers that haven't gone through advanced inner circle. So when you guys are getting trained in our group training, if you're in our advanced 3.0 program and you're on our group training calls each week with our sales trainers, these guys already made hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in commissions in their jobs while they went through NEPQ, and then they wanted to come work here because they saw the power it gave them. They saw the results they gave them, and they want to give that to other salespeople selling other things. So that's why you have to role play with people who know what you're doing wrong and can show you how to tweak it. Otherwise, you could be role playing with somebody that says, oh, you're doing this wrong when you're doing it right. And then you change it and then you get screwed up and they don't know what they don't know either. It's like, like the Bible says, if the blind lead the blind, shall they not both fall into the ditch? Right? If you're being led by the blind, you're probably going to fall in the ditch too. Okay, keep going. All right, so let's talk about solution awareness questions. What's a good solution awareness question we tell you how to ask in the platform that gets them to see what their future is going to look like once their problems are solved?
Yeah, so I'll usually jump right into, I'll ask them before they got on a call with me if they've done any, like what else have they looked at?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm looking for, are they actively looking? How serious are they looking? Yeah. And then my favorite question is, why haven't you done anything with those people?
Okay, why would we want you to ask that with what you sell?
Because I can find out what they liked or didn't like about it. Yeah. And it also prevents I got to go back and look at these other people as well. So it eliminates that objection at the back end too.
Yeah. And it helps you find out what they don't like about your competitors. So when you go through your presentation, you already know what they don't like and what they do want. And so you're focused on just what they want. You don't want to bring something up that you wouldn't have known they didn't like. And now they're like, oh yeah, I had that same problem with the other company. It's not going to work out for me.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about consequence questions. What have you learned from consequence questions?
These are my favorite part of the whole call. If you want to transform a call, this is the place where you do it.
Okay, tell us why.
So now, and where I was screwing up at the beginning of the training was I would say, well, like what happens if nothing changes over the next, year, 2, 3, whatever was appropriate for the conversation. Yeah. Like, well, that's not really going to happen. And I would kind of let it go at that.
Yeah.
And then, so what as a factor of role playing that section, now I double down.
Okay.
And I'll go in and I'll it's like, yeah, I realize it's unpleasant, but it's possible. Like you've been looking for 2 years, or you've been looking for 5 years and like nothing's happened. What does happen if you don't get the extra $7,000 a month that you're looking for, say over the next 12 or 24 months? Like what happens then? Like what is the impact of that?
And what do they say?
Well, now they get real. That is an absolute blast because that is everything that you need to handle any objection that's going to come up.
Yeah. Because you can reference back because they basically are going to dig in and tell you why they need to change your situation now. That reduces, like almost eliminates the I want to keep looking around or I want to think it over objection because they just told you why they need to change now.
Mm-hmm.
They can't then come back and say, I need to keep looking around for the next 6 months or now's not a good time. You're eliminating a lot of those objections by that consequence question. Okay, but what happens if you don't do anything about this? You just stay in the same job, same income the next 5, 10, 15 plus years. I mean, what happens then? See, consequence.
Oh, I love it. They're my favorite to call.
Yeah, they really slap people around in a good way, but people don't feel
no, they don't.
Like you're slapping them, and they feel like you're challenging them because you're concerned about them. You're concerned about their situation.
Yeah, speed and tonality there, they really make it land.
Yeah.
Because Jeremy, I know that, I know it's uncomfortable to consider it, but what does happen? Like, what do you do if, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3, like you still haven't made $7,000. Well, I'm going to make it. Okay. But you've been looking for 4 or 5 years and you haven't. So what really does happen?
Yeah.
And now they have to think and answer, and you are going to get some real stuff there.
You want me to show you what to do after that? They're like, oh no, I've got to change. Okay. But why look at changing now? Like, why not push this down the road like unsuccessful people would? There you go.
I love that.
You didn't know that one yet. We teach you that in the Advanced Inner Circle.
Okay.
I gave you a little freebie there.
Oh, I appreciate it.
But why look at doing this now? Like, why not push us down the road like unsuccessful people would? Well, the reason why, because nobody wants to be unsuccessful. First of all, well, no, I'm not going to be like those people. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And they're just telling themselves why they have to change now. All right, we don't have time to go through like the presentation stuff right now because that's a little bit longer. But you're learning that in the Advanced 3.0 portal. Commitment questions. How did you used to try to close in the past?
I would just drop the price and go, like, it was like the assumption close. So would you like this one or would you like that one?
So Visa or MasterCard? And you'd have some people who'd be like, oh, I think I want to do it on Visa. It's not you saying, do you want to do Visa or MasterCard? It's not like they're like, oh, well, I'm persuaded now, Visa. They had already decided to buy 10 minutes before you said that.
Mm-hmm.
That means you're just getting the easy ones.
Yep.
But if you do that on people that are kind of on the fence or they're not sure, all you're going to do is trigger what?
Yeah. More resistance.
And more objections.
Yeah.
And now you're digging yourself a hole. So if I'm asking more of a commitment question, so do you feel like this could be the answer for you? Well, yeah, I do. But I mean, I've got to look at the money. Well, money aside, why do you feel like it is though?
Yeah. Oh, gesundheit.
All right. Thanks. All right. Any last words of advice that you would give to salespeople out there? You know, some of these guys sell different things than you, obviously. We train over, I think it's 100 and it goes up every day, but I want to say 164 or 65 industries at this point, yours included now. Yep. Any last words of advice you'd give somebody here that is like, hey man, I need to start, I want to start making 10 grand a month. I want to start making 30 grand a month like Brent now is. Yeah.
The role plays are super, super important. You're not going to go through a portal, watch videos and get it. You just don't know what you don't know. So you're not going to get it 100%, right? You're not going to know the nuances without going through. I wasn't close.
Our advanced role playing for sure.
I had consumed a lot of your content before I jumped in, and
well, you just went through the free content.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, because the free content is we just give you little hors d'oeuvres like here and there, but you don't know how to structure that. You're not going to know if you ask this question that we taught you and they say this, you're not going to know how to respond to that because you haven't gone through the platform that teaches all that. You don't know the ins and outs by going through freebie stuff.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work. So even though, it's great training, but it's still a lot of work. You're going to get off of a role play and you're going to have made some notes. And then you're going to have to go back into that section of your script and you're going to have to replay it in front of a mirror or however you're going to do it. But it isn't like I enrolled and my sales changed.
Yeah.
And it is kind of awkward at the beginning when you're showing up because you look pretty stupid. I felt pretty stupid showing up and like I was so far removed from where I needed to be that you feel kind of dumb at the beginning, but like not that they make you feel that way. It's just your ways off.
Well, you have to become, if you want to get to the next level, what do you first have to do? You have to step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Otherwise you become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Right.
Yeah. You've identified with a position that you don't want to be. Like you've literally taken it on as an identity. That's why people stay there, is it becomes an identity. Yeah. And you become your own worst nightmare. Yeah. Like you're I want to think about it, or I got to go talk to my spouse guy or gal. And so, yeah, if you want to increase those skill sets, you have to work with the right people and you have to do it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Go from 4K a month 3 months ago. Now this last month you made 30K a month in commission. 4K before the training. Your next month, when you started going through it, you went to 16. That's 4 times your income. And then last month you made 29.
Yeah. And I posted those results in the Facebook community.
Oh, I saw those. Yeah. Good job, man.
So that way,
I always have to ask, are you married or on your own?
Married.
Okay. Is your spouse a fan of the training possibly?
No.
No, she doesn't like the training.
She was not in favor of me getting it, period.
She didn't want you to learn advanced sales skills to start selling more.
Nope.
Does she want you to stay at $4,000 a month?
No. She was like, go drive a truck. You'll make more.
How does she feel about you making 30 grand a month now?
Well, she was pretty stoked with that paycheck.
Okay. You tell her you're welcome.
That's usually how it works.
Okay, I like it. How did that help you, Brent, when you got into the training?
Well, you approach it, you understand what the mindsets are, what the issues are. So you just like, it's not like you're arguing with them. You're getting on the same side of the table, and it's such a different feeling for both people.
Well, because you're collaborating with them.
Yeah.
You're helping them overcome their own concern, working on it as two people that are trying to get them the end result they want, Whereas most salespeople have been taught that selling is adversarial. Throw out a rebuttal, try to prove why you're right, feel, felt, found, which has been around for 10,000 years. And then you make a sale here and there, so you think it works. But you don't realize you could be making a lot more sales if you knew how to work with human behavior. Brent, I know I took a lot of your time. Thank you for being on. God bless. And we will see everybody soon. Brent, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed these, here's another you can watch right over here, right over here. Join our free Sales Revolution group. Click the link below, join us, and we're gonna help you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you real soon.